Okay, so the first thing we're going to do today, since the sound doesn't seem to be working with our YouTube videos, is I'm going to have you, before you start this lesson, go to the other YouTube video that I have connected if you haven't watched it already, which is this multiples of 7, and go ahead and take a minute and watch that. It's just one of those catchy rhythms that helps you remember how to count by sevens. So go and watch that, and then come back to this, and we'll get started on the lesson. The lesson we're going to be doing today is Module 3, Lessons 4 and 5. The objective is to count by units of 6 and 7. So Lesson 4 teaches us how to count by 6s. Lesson 5 teaches us how to count by 7s, but we're going to combine them today because we're learning how to do the same thing with both 6s and 7s, which is to multiply and divide using number bonds to decompose. The materials you need for today are your online whiteboard or your whiteboard dry erase marker and dry eraser. And the teaching style we're going to follow is where I do it, we do it together, and then you do it on your own. So first up, we're going to be practicing counting by sevens like we just watched in the video. So we're going to use the number bond to solve 9 times 7. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw the top part of my number bond. What we know about number bonds so far is that top number, the big circle, is always your biggest number. Okay, or in the case of multiplication, that is our product or our answer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make legs on our number bond to help us solve. So we're solving 9 times 7, which means we need 9 groups of 7. So we're going to make 9 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 legs, and we need 7 in each one, okay? 9 groups of 7. 7, 7, 7. All of them are groups of 7. Now what we need to figure out is our product or our answer. So how can we use this number bond? We can use the number bond to help us keep track of our skip counting. So we're going to skip count by sevens 9 times. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write my skip count next to each circle to help myself keep track of how many times I need to count. 7, 14, and you can kind of be thinking the rhythm from that song in your head. 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63. So I used that number bond to help me solve 9 times 7, which is 63. Okay, so now we're going to do one together. So you're going to need out your whiteboard. We're going to use a number bond to solve 8 times 6. So the first thing I want you to do on your whiteboard is I want you to make the big piece of your number bond, the spot where we're going to put our product or our answer. Now, 8 times 6 is like 8 groups of 6. So that means we need 8 groups. So on your number bond, you're going to need to make 8 legs. And it's okay if they're not perfect. It's okay if some of them go out the top, as long as you have 8 of them, because we're using them to help us skip count. Once you have your 8 legs, Each of those groups, each of those 8 groups is going to have 6 in it. So now you need to put a 6 in each group. Now the last thing we need to do to solve is to skip count by 6s. So remember, you're going to go next to each of the number bond pieces or each of the groups, and you're going to write your skip count right next to it to help you keep track. Now what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video. I want you to finish your skip count, and then we're going to press play and see if your skip count matches mine, okay? It's okay if you messed up a little bit, but I want you to at least pause the video and try to do the skip counting by yourself, just like you would have to on your homework or on a test. So go ahead and pause now. Okay, so hopefully you paused and got your skip count done. Now let's see if yours matches mine. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. So we figured out that 8 times 6 equals 48. So the big piece of our number bond or our product is 48. Okay, so that is how we use number bonds to help us solve multiplication problems. The first number will always be our number of groups or the number of legs we make. And the second number is the number that goes inside each of those groups. And then you just skip count around the outside. And the last number is your product or your answer. Okay. Go ahead and erase your whiteboard. We're now to the part where you're going to work on your homework alone. The skill you're working on is skill F7, multiply by 6. So for example, this first problem here, you see 5 times 6. So if you're using your number bond to help solve, first number is 5, so you would make 5 legs. 2, 3, 4, 5. The second number is 6, so in each of these will be a 6. And then you just have to skip count by 6s to solve. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So your product would be 30, and that would be the answer you type in IXL. Okay, go ahead and get started. Make sure when you're working on your IXL that you keep your whiteboards out so that you can use them to help solve your IXL skills.